For himself, but stops and hands to Baldwin. Free throw line, jumper in.
And there it is again, going right back to him. He's such a mismatch problem. He can make that shot.
Incredible shot by LeBron James.
Yelich on the run, and
My name is Sammy. I'm 12 years old.
Here's Curry for the record.
I'm a point guard. I play softball and basketball. I love competition. I am female athlete. Biggest role models is different. Like improving every day. My name is Sophia. I am 11 years old and I play basketball.
My favorite thing about playing sports is the competitive aspect of it and the teamwork.
I get to hang out with my friends, and the winning part is one of the best moments. Learning new skills. And just like how people like support each other just makes it like 10 times more fun.
You know, I think it all starts, kind of the discouragement starts at the youth age. You know, they're constantly seeing their friends at school participating in these, you know, club programs and youth programs while not having the same opportunity to.
When you're younger and you see like, if you're a girl, it's not like, oh, sports. Whereas like if you're a boy, you're kind of like pushed into sports.
He told me that girl athletes aren't as tough and stronger as boy athletes. I was always told that girls basketball wasn't as interesting to watch. When you play pickup and you're playing with the boys and they don't pass you the ball because you're a girl, or they back off you because they don't think that you can shoot as well, or they pick you last because they think girls aren't as strong or as fast.
So the benefits for playing sports, there's a plethora of them.
How to overcome adversity, how to control their emotions, there's so many life lessons.
It's something we talk to our student athletes here at Milwaukee about all the time. When you're building a resume and just talking about your student athlete experience, because you learn leadership skills immediately, time management skills, you know, how to work as a team, communication. You're kind of naturally doing those skills, not realizing how important they are when you get into the working world.
That's why everyone, regardless of your gender, should be playing sports.
I want to play in college. I want to play for Marquette, and I want to play on TV.
Inequity in sports highlighted on the national scale.
So you're seeing what's going on both the men's side and the women's side.
The NCAA is apologizing to women's basketball players and coaches for, quote, dropping the ball in preparing for this year's college basketball championships in San Antonio.
So for the NCAA March Madness, the biggest tournament in college basketball for women, this is our weight room. Let me show y'all the men's weight room.
Equity and equality was so talked about.
I mean, most people have more than that in their own homes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the bottom line is, I don't think they address it unless it was pointed out, and they
Yep.
did have the space.
100%.
But the big games, they start tonight.
It wasn't intentional, but also it's like that almost doesn't matter because the perception was there's less value here for this tournament. And that definitely, you know, I think that hurts young women too, to kind of see like, well, why would I invest all this time and energy in being really great at something and competing at the highest level I can if other people don't see the value or aren't going to be supportive, right?
Guys are really more dominated with advertising, and there's not really as many girls promoted as much as like good players.
The girls are usually one step under the guys. Nowadays, on TV and everything, a lot of like big names are usually men.
You hear like Giannis and Stephen Curry all the time, but you don't really hear the females.
So that kind of encourages boys to play sports rather than girls who don't have many women athletes to look up to.
In order to be able to watch the WNBA games or to be able to watch like college women's basketball games, usually you're having to buy a different platform versus, you know, where you're constantly seeing boys and men perform.
Hosu's time of 4 minutes 26.36 seconds was more than 2 seconds faster than the previous world record.
And there's the guy responsible for turning Katinka Hosu, his wife, into a whole different swimmer.
Last week, the Norwegian women's beach handball team making waves for wearing shorts instead of regulation bikini bottoms at a European tournament. The Norwegian Handball Federation fined nearly $2,000 for improper clothing, while male players in the sport are allowed to wear tank tops and shorts.
The 57-year-old Nasser is serving a life sentence for sexual abuse and possession of child pornography. In all, hundreds of women and girls have accused him of sexual abuse, including Olympic stars Ali Raismond and Simone Biles.
The sport is swimming. Scores of women say they've been victimized.
More than 100 coaches, all banned for life for sexual abuse or misconduct.
Were you surprised that Azarenka was pregnant, and did you even know that she had, you know, someone to be pregnant with?
If you could date anyone in the world of sport, of movies, who would you date?
The second slam you're doing as a fiancé to a player.
Fiancé, what kind of word is that?
Or your girlfriend?
I guess, just Isla would be great too.
How would you describe how much more difficult it is to be a player who is a mother as opposed to a player who is a father?
When it comes to sports, female athletes definitely need more compassion because there's so many more times that female athletes are questioned or told that they're never going to be as good. And the thing is, that's not what should be important in athletics. What should be important is how well you can be and that there's always a next step.
Committing to a D1 school for me was one of the greatest moments of my life and a really cool achievement because it's something that you work so hard for and build up to.
Whole year, they're only accumulating about 5 weeks off from their sport.
It's basically a full-time job. When people tell you that, it's exactly what that is.
A lot of our players will wake up in the morning and they have their first classes.
And then we'll usually have lift and conditioning.
I would say 2.5-hour practices.
Then they'll have individual work with a coach.
During season when we're playing games, we'll usually watch film every day.
Study hall,
community service,
and then a lot of them attend class in the evening because they won't have had time to get all their classes in before our practice time slot.
You go to bed and repeat.
Do you look up to high school and college female athletes? If yes, why?
Yes, I think they have definitely more self-esteem.
I do. Again, I give them so much credit for balancing academics and athletics.
I do look up to Eisenhower. It's one of my home teams, and they beat lots of teams, and it inspires me to do what they're doing.
They really just are putting themselves out there, and they're being a role model for a lot of those younger girls that don't have someone to look up to, like parents or like people on TV.
Representation does matter.
The males are kind of like put a little bit more on a pedestal.
And I feel like that girls always feel like they can't do stuff because they're a girl.
Female athletes are the ones that are kind of playing behind the scenes.
Female athletes show younger girls that they can do what they want to do.
And they give little girls hopes and dreams of becoming something big.
If that's like your passion and what you want to do, then you should be able to have someone to look up to.
There's no difference in female and male sports. If you ask me, the game is the same. It'll never change. I just think that we need to advocate more for our women and make sure that we are getting the same privileges as men do.
The more people start to see female sports, the more they realize, like, man, this is really entertaining as well, right?
Where it has come from, you know, I think there's a lot more opportunity and equal opportunity for women now, and so we just got to keep making that progress.
The college softball World Series, they sell out their stadium every year. I know, like, up in Madison, the women's hockey team has a really great following.
On a positive note, it's definitely cool to see that it's being noticed and that there are changes being made.
Female athletes definitely matter.
Female athletes are important.
Obviously, female athletes matter.
I think female athletes
absolutely matter.
Just as anybody else does.
Because of the same reason that male athletes matter.
Don't give up. You can do anything you put your mind to. And don't let anybody tell you that you can't.
Just play.